Public perceptions. One of my opponents on the other side, who I have great respect for, his name is Jeff Mando. He does a lot of the police defense work here in northern Kentucky, okay? And we've had lots of battles. We had one battle, I think, lasted 12 years. But anyway, he told me that when he first started doing police and jail misconduct cases, he always thought that it was on his side. The initial reaction was the police officer is good, didn't do anything wrong. But after the Rodney King incident, things have shifted to where people are more suspicious. I agree with him. And I would like to point out to you that the public perception used to be completely stacked against you. No police officer. The problem is there's been so many instances on cable news, like the old lady getting tased at a traffic stop. And we've seen these horrifying things that don't happen a lot. But people generally, they're more suspicious of law enforcement, I think, than ever before. So public perception, we got it on our side if we got a good case. Tasers. This is a whole area of the law which is fascinating. And there are expert witnesses that will testify about Taser. And there are some people that are suing Taser companies because they say they're unsafe. I will only say this about Tasers. I'm amazed at local police department policies. Generally, you would think that a Taser would be something that you would use last resort. No. Our local departments have this policy. Ma'am, I'm asking you, this is the first line, it's called verbal. I'm asking you to please put your hand behind your back so I can arrest you. As soon as the lady says no, rather than walk up to the lady and try to do it, it is department policy in most departments, he can pull out the Taser. Ma'am, put your arms behind your back. I don't know if I want to do that. Instantly tased. We've had clients die from tasing. We've had clients that have been severely tased. And this is why you need to get a lawyer in these things. There are restrictions of how these Taser companies, how often you can be tased. My naked black man, and by the way, I can say his name. His name is Terry Williams. God love him. He let me put his video up on the internet. He's become a friend of mine. He's a good guy. Terry Williams, you can watch this. This was all captured on video cam. All captured on video cam. They were tasing him, 3 guys. Well, 2 guys were tasing him and beating him with clubs. I mean, the poor guy was just shaking with convulsions from being tased. And when you got the logs on the Taser, he was being tased in seconds, not minutes. They weren't even letting to see if the Taser worked or not. Another thing about Terry's case involving a malicious prosecution claim is he laid beaten. He almost died. He spent 20 days in the hospital. His kidneys shut down from being tased and beaten so much. True story. While he's laying in the hospital, he asked if he was going to be charged with any crimes. The detective said to him, quote unquote, that's up to you. In other words, they said to him, if you don't sue us, we won't prosecute you. He sued, they prosecuted. Remember that malicious prosecution thing I was talking about? There's an example of it. Don't sue us, we won't prosecute you. Injury. You got to have a severe injury. I'm telling you. Now, for a malicious prosecution claim, you don't have a severe physical injury. But for excessive force, you got to have a severe. Little marks on your handcuffs, not good enough. Permanent nerve damage, good enough. But you have to have a severe injury for an excessive force claim. What are you entitled to? Your medical bills, your lost income, your pain and suffering, attorney fees, embarrassment and humiliation. If you are unfortunate and your loved one died as a result of police misconduct, we have to set up an estate, get you or somebody appointed under the will. If there's no will, that's okay. We'll still get somebody appointed so they have the power to pursue the case. Fabrication of evidence, another one of my favorite claims. I have seen police officers put false things on their police. Do you know if a police officer on a ticket puts something false which you can prove? That's fabrication of evidence. And along with malicious prosecution and excessive force, you can bring a claim for fabrication of evidence. And I have busted more and more officers with what we call fabrication of evidence. Again, Terry Williams' case, what I call the naked black man case, it is amazing what the police officers put in their initial reports and their latter reports. Completely different. It's amazing. And it's a good claim. Why? Because a jury is not going to like, and they can understand the inherent unfairness and injustice. I'm going to throw a quote out to you. I love quotes. This is our first video I'm throwing out. T.R. said, "Aggressive fighting for the right is the noblest sport the world affords." And that's what this is. Police officers committing dishonest acts, unacceptable. And I want to stress this to you. I say this on my radio show. Police officers have one of the hardest jobs there are. Why? Think about police officers. Police officers have to put up with us, the public. You know, I always thought the best police officer is one that can ignore a smart aleck. You know, I always use my friend who just retired from the Covington Police Department, Dean Broadus, as an example. He's a real big guy, secure. I could see some little twerp blowing his mouth off to him and Dean just ignoring him. Doesn't have to prove himself to kick his butt. But they have to put up with the public. They have to put up with other police officers. They got to put up with the bureaucracy of their city and their county. They got to put up with all the forms. I mean, just think, they don't get paid enough. They got to work night shifts. I'm sure their wives don't like them going out. And if you're an inner city cop like a Cincinnati police officer or Covington and Newport, and I always say this on the radio, you really do have a risk of your life. Sorry, suburban police officers, you're not getting shot very often. But I want you to know that I don't have any problem, and I represent police officers. Aaron Arnsberger is one of my closest friends. He's a police officer. I represent police officers. I have police officers who are friends. But you know what? 95% of police officers are great guys and gals and do a great job. But just like there's some bad crooked lawyers, there's bad crooked doctors, there's some bad crooked cops. I want those cases. Statute of limitations. It depends, but it's usually a year. Insurance. Police officers are usually represented through the state, some insurance programs. Again, if you're ever on a jury, I don't know if this is, I'm going to get accused of tainting future jury polls, but if you're ever on a jury and a police officer is sitting there, he's being represented by insurance. It's not coming out of his pocket. In fact, I will go ahead and tell you this. Since I have been practicing law for 25 years, other than cases that settled for a few $1,000s, I've never not taken money or a house or a home from any defendant. There's always been insurance that it's paying the bill. So just keep that in mind. Everybody thinks that police officer sitting there, he's going to lose his house and his job. No, he's not. Settlement. Settlements are good in these cases. You know why? Because they have the right under immunity to appeal. This is messed up. Think about what I have to deal with as a plaintiff's attorney. I'm not getting paid on these cases. I do them on contingency and I can petition the court for attorney fees. Just think what I have to do. I file a lawsuit. Somewhere along the line, the defense attorney, Mr. Mando, they're going to file what's called a motion to dismiss based upon immunity. That can be appealed to the higher court. It takes a couple years. If I win that and it comes back, then they're going to file a motion for summary judgment. They can appeal that too. A police misconduct, Terry Williams' case is an example of that. A police misconduct case that doesn't settle is going to take 3 to 5 years. Pretty remarkable. The longest one I had with Mr. Mando, and Jeff, you know you had to pay on that one, over $1 million. Took me 12 years. It was at least 10 years. It was unbelievable. It was a very good case. They had to pay $700,000 in attorney fees. Trial. I love the trial. Just think, I'm the bulldog, right? Can you imagine, and I can't wait for Terry Williams' case. Can you imagine how much fun? And you saw me probably in the Nicole Howe case where I was representing a teacher that's wronged. Can you imagine how much fun the bulldog will have in the courtroom and has in the courtroom trying a police misconduct case involving excessive force, malicious prosecution, and fabrication of evidence? The cause, just the cause of that, how much passion you can put forth in that. It's beautiful. It's a shame. It's terrible what happens to the client. But strictly as a lawyer standpoint, you know, you are representing goodness and justice in that courtroom. Appeals, I already explained, it takes too long. Contingency fee, again, you don't have the money to fork out, so we do them on a contingency fee of 1/3. I've already covered public opinion. So there you have it. I love police misconduct cases. And I'll go ahead and add, this kind of applies to jail misconduct cases too. We have countless cases against the jails around here. One in Campbell County is just so sad. Campbell County continually is not providing medical treatment to their inmates that they require. The saddest one is a guy represented in 2 car accident cases came to me a month ago. And he knew he had a blood clot problem, and he was complaining for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. He never was taken to the hospital, was never given his medical treatment, and as a result, he's going to lose his right arm. He's going to lose his arm because the jail wouldn't give him the medical treatment. We have over 40 people, I think, that have claims against the Campbell County Jail for this type of thing. It's terrible. But they're challenging because they don't want to admit fault. But there you have it. Police, jail misconduct cases. The law basically is the same for jail misconduct as it is for a police. Remember, you can text me at eric@ericdeters.com, and you can also text me at 859-250-2527. Email me and text me, and I will respond to you within 24 hours. I sleep with this BlackBerry. It's with me all the time. I work, I live on naps. So you're going to get a response if you text me and I'm in the movie theater. My wife will get mad at me. I'll probably respond to you while the movie's going on. One of the things that I like to do is to be responsive to you. It's my edge. It's my marketing edge. You're going to get a meeting with me, a text or an email from me before you will ever get that from another lawyer. So I hope you never encounter police misconduct. But if you're watching this video, chances are you or a loved one has. And if you have, no one is going to give you the passion that I'm going to give you and represent you. Remember, every dog has their day. I hope tomorrow is yours.